Prepare to be shocked as we uncover the harrowing truth behind the Herero and the Nama genocide, a dark chapter that marked the dawn of the 20th century. From rebellion to ruthless retaliation, witness the courage of the oppressed and the atrocities of the colonial powers as we unravel the untold story and shed light on the forgotten tragedy. Royal and humble greetings to each and every one in what we now call Namibia. The original inhabitants were the San and the Khoikhoi people, living alongside the Herero, who were skilled cattle handlers. They made the land perfect for their cattle, becoming known for their fierce defense for their herds. As European countries competed for control in Africa, the Germans set their sight on Namibia. They took land from local chiefs, including a stretch of coast near Luderitz Bay. This sparked tensions with the Herero leader, Maharero, who tried to protect his people's interests. Meanwhile, the Nama people lived to the south, also facing challenges from the German newcomers. Together, the Herero and the Nama faced hardships as they struggled to preserve their way of life against colonial pressures. The German colonial authorities and settlers in Africa wanted to create a new African Germany with mostly white people. They planned to put the native Africans on reserves and gave their land to settlers and companies. The Germans encouraged colonists to take land and cattle from the Herero and Nama people and make them work as slaves. This made the native Africans angry because they lost their land and status to German settlers. They also didn't like how the traditional leaders were stripped of power. This anger led to the Herero Wars in 1904. The governor, Major Theodore Lidvain, knew how the Germans' action affected the Herero people. He described them as brave and proud, but suffering because of German rule. In 1903, a German trader named Dietrich was on his way to buy a horse when he accepted a ride from a son of a Herero chief. That night, Dietrich got drunk and tried to rape the chief's son's wife. When she resisted, Dietrich shot and killed her. At his trial, Dietrich claimed he thought the camp was under attack and shot blindly. The court believed him, citing temporary insanity, and acquitted him. This incident caused a stir in the Herero land, raising questions about whether white people had the right to harm native women. The then governor, Theodore, stepped in, had Dietrich retried. This time, he was found guilty of manslaughter and imprisoned. Many German settlers were upset with Theodore, calling him a race traitor. Tensions were rising in German Southwest Africa. The Nama clans rebelled under Hendrik Witbois' leadership, and the Herero joined them in January 1904. One big issue was land rights. The Herero found out about plans to split their land with a railway line and make reservations for them. They had already lost a lot of land to German settlers, and the completion of the railway will bring even more Europeans. There were also talks about putting the Herero in reserves, showing how the Germans felt they owned the land. The Germans treated African testimony as less valuable than their own, and many saw Africans as just cheap labor or worse. The new debt collection policy in late 1903 made things worse. Herero people borrowed money at high interest rates and couldn't pay it back. Governor Theodore tried to help by cancelling debts, but it angered the settlers who were owed money. Racial tensions were high too. German settlers looked down on black Africans and treated them badly. They even took native women as concubines, sometimes forcefully. This contempt and mistreatment fueled the anger of the Herero people, which led them to rebel against German rule. Meanwhile, a distinct tribe called the Bondelswarts, which is part of the Nama ethnic group, resisted German gun registration, leading to violence. Major Theodore, the governor of the Herero colony, went south to handle the situation, leaving few troops in the north. The Herero revolted in early 1904, attacking German settlers and cutting off communication links. Led by Samuel Maharero, they surrounded Okahanja and attacked Fort Namutoni in the north. During the uprising, the Herero retaliated against suspected cattle thieves, which they also directed at German soldiers and civilians. Despite Governor Theodore's attempt to negotiate peace, the Herero rejected offers, believing the Germans were misleading them. After the Germans saw that things didn't go as planned, they called for their total eradication. Reinforcements were sent, and General Lothar van Trotha arrived to crush the rebellion with force. While Governor Theodore wanted a political settlement, van Trotha aimed to defeat the Herero militarily. In August 1904, German forces surrounded and defeated the main Herero army at the Battle of Waterberg. After van Trotha's arrival, the extermination of the Herero people began. German General Staff Chief Alfred von Schlieffen supported van Trotha's plan to wipe out the Herero nation. Governor Theodore, upset by van Trotha's actions, complained to the Chancellor. But he could only voice concerns since he had no authority over the military. Theodore believed that destroying the Herero would be a mistake economically. Van Trotha's orders led to the establishment of labor camps, where prisoners were exploited as slave laborers and subjected to medical experiments. Many Herero and Nama died from diseases, starvation, and exhaustion in these camps, with mortality rates between 45% to 75%. The conditions in these camps were horrific, with prisoners given inadequate food and subjected to brutal treatment by German guards. Shark Island concentration camp, the most brutal camp, saw many deaths due to exposure and disease. Medical experiments were conducted on live prisoners, and body parts from dead prisoners were used for research. Hundreds of skulls were sent to Germany for experimentation. The Herero population was decimated, with a census in 1905 revealing only 25,000 remaining. Estimates suggest that up to more than 80% of the indigenous population were killed during the genocide. After the concentration camps closed, surviving Herero people were forced into labor for German settlers and had to wear metal discs with their labor registration numbers. They were also banned from owning land or cattle, which was essential for their way of life. Around 19,000 German troops were involved in the conflict, with 3,000 in combat. Germany lost about 676 soldiers in battle. The monument in Windhoek was erected to commemorate the victory, but there was no monument for the indigenous people killed until after Namibia gained independence. In 1908, diamonds were discovered, briefly boosting prosperity in the colony. During World War I, South Africa took over the German colony and received a League of Nations mandate over it in 1920. Medical experiments conducted on the Herero served as a testing ground from procedures later used in the Holocaust. Some individuals involved in the Herero genocide, like Eugene Fischer, later played significant roles in Nazi Germany. There are ideological similarities between the two genocides, with both aiming for cleansing and the emergence of something new. However, some historians question the direct link between the Herero genocide and the Holocaust. In 2004, Germany officially apologized for the genocide, expressing deep regret and accepting historical and moral responsibilities. However, they ruled out special compensations, but promised continued economic aid to Namibia. The Trotha family publicly apologized for their relatives' actions during the genocide in 2007. The Herero people filed lawsuits demanding reparations from Germany, but the cases faced legal challenges due to sovereign immunity laws. Germany initially avoided using the term genocide, but later recognized the events as such in 2001, along with offering 1.1 billion in aid to affected communities. The agreement still needs to be ratified by both countries' parliaments. Skulls and human remains taken to Germany for scientific research were returned to Namibia, and a stone symbol taken from Namibia in the 1900s was also returned by Germany in 2019. Now this became one of the first recorded genocide in Southern Africa. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Until the next one, thank you for watching.